Hello, hope you are doing fine. Have you been trying self inquiry? Did you start with the practice yet? Hmm. Start doing it. See, um, in the last video, I said that we'll discuss about some new angles pertaining to self inquiry. The thing is, when you are pursuing self inquiry, you are traveling from from here to here. Hmm. You are covering the distance of the Amrutanadi. When you are doing any other sadhana, you are traveling from the base chakra, root chakra, Mooladhara, till crown chakra, Sahasrara. So the pathways are different. Hmm? So this is why self-inquiry is actually for mature minds. A mind that is mature will be able to point out the subtleness of awareness. Hmm? When your mind has a habit of being inward turned, hmm, and it starts helping you in sadhana instead of rebelling against you. Hmm. Why does an individual rebel against the world? Because the mind is rebelling against him. Hmm. And just as mind starts to cooperate, the individual starts to cooperate with the world. Hmm. So you are covering the distance from here till here, and your mind is cooperating. Hmm. So, what will happen is your Kundalini will rush forth. Hmm. Same thing happens in Hatha Yoga, Kriya Yoga, any other meditative practice. Kundalini starts to move upwards. Hmm. But in Gyan Marga, although the result is same, Kundalini will move upwards. But the sadhaka is not aiming at Kundalini. Hmm. Sadhaka is aiming at Brahman. And Brahman is the supreme reality. So once you are with the truth, everything else starts to align. Ah. So you must understand the gravity of this sadhana. Hmm. Now, self-surrender is also the same. When you surrender, Guru takes over you and he pulls Kundalini upwards. So, on 24th January 2022. Since this day, I started having continuous flow of Sphurana. Hmm. Why did it happen? I received energy from Bhagwan, from Paramatma, from universe, from Guru. I received energy and my Kundalini was invoked. Hmm. So when Kundalini was invoked, my body started doing Kriya, mudras. Excuse me. So mudras started forming automatically because there are blockages in nadis. So in order to remove those blockages, body itself starts to practice kriyas, involuntary kriya. You can search about this on Google. Because continuous flow of sphurna and to contain sphurna within your body, that itself requires an advanced vessel. Sphurna is really strong. So your body has to be advanced so that it can contain that amount of energy. Now you can do anything with this energy. You are peaceful. You can share peace with everyone. So in a way, you are giving a chunk of your energy. You are loving and kind. You can share your unconditional love with everyone. So in a way, you are instilling love within each heart, transforming darkness into light. So arriving at Sphurana is beneficial for all. That should be our aim. Once you come across with your own real self, the effulgence of I, 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 slowly what happens is your body identification starts to become weak. So understand that half of my mind is always fixed at Sphurana. When I sleep, mind totally gets fixed on Sphurana and I am not aware of anything around most of the times. Not always, but most of the times when I'm asleep, I'm not aware of anything, what's going around, what's happening. Because mind is totally absorbed in Sphurana. So, when you perform self-inquiry and you ask within yourself, you inquire, where is this I-ness, my being? Where has this come from? What will happen is you will experience that question being dissolved into the source. Hmm. And the point where it is getting dissolved, that is the source. So, self inquiry is the practice of locating source within your heart cavity. Hmm. If you don't want to do so, you can always practice surrender. Just as you are practicing self inquiry, surrender will also require practice. And at the end, complete surrender will be achieved only with the blessings of the Guru. Complete surrender is not up to us, it is by the will of Brahman that an individual arrives at surrender. Hmm. So, even now, Source is prominent in my heart cavity. It is becoming difficult for me to speak, increasingly difficult to focus because mind is drifting towards the source. Hmm. So there are few things about self-inquiry that I wanted to discuss with you. You know, what is the obstacle when you do self-inquiry? What actually is the obstacle? Obstacle is overstimulated mind, which is always jumping. Hmm? Overthinking occurs because there is instability in the root chakra. Hmm? Root chakra has not completely activated, opened, whatever term you want to use. It's not strong. Hmm. It's not balanced. Why is it not balanced? Your root chakra starts to balance itself and almost completes the process of balancing by 7 years of age. Hmm. So, why is it not balanced? Because there is trauma related to root chakra. Hmm. Now, by the age 7, a child becomes curious and starts to ask questions regarding the surroundings, regarding the sun, the moon, the stars, the grass, the trees, the water, the rain. Hmm? This is a healthy child. If the child thus inquires, his kundalini will smoothly move upwards. But what actually happens is because we are love bombed hmm, by our own mother, so our training starts by the age of 2 or 3. They start to teach us that until unless you do something, you will not be loved. Until unless you bring something from another room, you will not be complimented. Until unless you go out of the way to attract attention, hmm, you will not be attended to. No one will come to see you. So, if you want attention, you will have to do something. Either you need to break something, or you need to cry, or you need to throw temper tantrums. Hmm? So, what happens is by the age 3 and 4, the child starts to question about the wrong things. He was supposed to question about the stars, the moon, the light bulb in its room. The child is supposed to be questioning about why do I have to drink milk? Why do I have to eat this? I don't want to eat this. Hmm? These simple things. But what is the child thinking about? He is becoming curious, but he is becoming curious about why am I being, why am I not being loved? Why am I being ignored? What do I do so that the mother loves me? Huh? So this way, child does not properly acquire the trait of curiousness. Hmm. This way, child develops overthinking. Huh? So the problem, if you are facing major difficulties in self-inquiry, it is because of overthinking, overstimulated mind. Hmm. And this overstimulation of mind, it occurs due to childhood trauma, which you don't even remember. Hmm. Now imagine you have woken up from a dream. Huh? Now something horrible happened in the dream, but you cannot remember it. So when you wake up, because the dream was a thought and thoughts can go away easily, so the thought and the dream and its memory has gone away. You can't remember, you can't pinpoint what happened in the dream, but your body, it has stored the emotion generated due to that horrible dream, because those emotions, they have their own memory. So now body is having same emotions, mm, of being frightened due to that dream, of being disgusted, of being lonely, feeling alone, feeling unloved, feeling rejected, dejected, humiliated, whatever you felt, whatever you saw in the dream. Now you have no idea what's happening. Why am I feeling this way? Huh? You will feel this way for the next 1 to 2 hours. This feeling will recurrently appear within you. Hmm. Same thing happens when we have childhood trauma. Hmm. So, what is happening is those emotions where you want to ask mother, why are you not paying attention to me? Why are you not loving me? Do you not love me? Hmm. Am I not good enough for you? What do I need to do to be loved by you the way you were loving me in the beginning? Why have you changed so suddenly? So these questions, they have their own emotion. So now what happens is this emotion of not being good enough, not being loved, this will become your background emotion, huh, throughout your life. Just like you don't understand what happened in the dream, but you can feel those emotions even after the dream has gone. Similarly, whatever happened before the age 3, that also counts. Before the age 4, all that counts. And it is now posing itself as an obstacle in self inquiry. So, what happens is you are following the method of self inquiry, but self inquiry results in upward motion of Kundalini. So, although you are aiming at the source, but what will happen is the blockages from your root chakra will start purging out. So, you will go through all those emotions. Slowly, all of your chakras will be cleared out, and thus Kundalini will reach Sahasrara, crown chakra. And from there, it will descend. So now, one thing to understand is that you must garner as much help as possible. Don't take it upon yourself that I will do it. You are not the doer. Leave it up to Bhagwan. Maharshi will do it. Are you understanding? You have to clear out all these chakras. That is the pathway. But Bhagwan doesn't require any pathway. He is divine intervention. So just as the richest people on this planet, they do not have to follow rules and regulations. Similarly, Bhagwan is not required to follow any rule and any regulation or any law and order. He is the spiritual boss. So, this is the quickest method of arriving at your own self, submitting yourself to the Guru. He will look after all of your blockages. Once you try to surrender, then Guru will teach you the right method to approach self-inquiry. So, when you surrender, Guru has to teach you how to surrender. Because surrendering devotion is a high frequency and our base chakra is not cleared. So we are at really low frequency, lowest as of now. Hmm. So it is better to leave everything entirely up to Him. Now, let us read a little bit about self realization. Just first four lines. The state we call realization is simply being oneself, not knowing anything or becoming anything. Hmm. So the mind, when it is annihilated by the source, how will it know anything? How will it be anything? Hmm? Because knowing, the action of knowing, is done by the mind. Hmm. The action of knowing is done by the mind. So when mind itself is not present, when mind itself has died, what is there that will know? There is no one to know. Hmm. The state we call realization is simply being oneself. So, in the absence of knowing, there is only being, simply being oneself. Hmm. If one has realized he is that which alone is and which alone has always been, if you realize that you are the one that alone exists and that alone has always been, hmm, he cannot describe that state. So, that state where only that one exists cannot be described. You can only be that state. Hmm. So, self realized beings, they have no idea of where their body is, where their clothes are. Actually, no idea. It starts to become difficult. Hmm? And once you become self realized, it becomes entirely impossible to care about these things. In order to care, you need to employ some mental activity. Oh, I hope my clothes are fine. I hope my dupatta is fine. I hope my hair is fine. Now, in order to employ all this planning, organizing, mind is required. But mind is already annihilated by the source. And this is why Bhagavan used to live freely while wearing just one loin cloth. Hmm. Because mind is not there. So now you cannot care. Hmm. Sorry. Are you getting it? So I'm keeping this video short today because I am totally fixed at Surna. Hmm? I'll see you Sunday. Hmm. Take care.